Hello. I just woke up. First cigarette of the morning on this glorious day, which shall forever be known as Bunny Day. And I'll explain, but I definitely need a cigarette first before we start talking about this. Last one in the pack. Into the fire. It's okay, I have another pack. Oh God, today is gonna be such a day. I guess I should call it Rabbit Day instead of Bunny Day, so it sounds less adorable. So in a couple of hours' time, I'm going to be taking a rabbit raising, culling, which is dispatching of the rabbit, butchering and cooking class. It's like an hour away, really in the middle of nowhere. I live in the middle of nowhere. But it's even more in the middle of nowhere. By a gentleman. Gentleman's putting on this. Because I want to raise rabbits. Because I like eating rabbit. And I don't know how to end their lives, cook with them, butcher them, or raise them. So this class is perfect. So every spring and fall, my neighbor's dog is far away, but it's angry. There's an auction, and they sell all kinds of things like cages and stuff, and tons of animals. I think that's probably when I'll buy the bunnies, rabbits. So I was reading this flyer for this class, and at the bottom of it, it said, rabbits will be available for sale on site if you want hands-on experience. So he's going to be selling live rabbits if you want to, practice the techniques that you're learning. And I was a little concerned because I want to make like a rabbit meal tonight after this class with my new skills. And it's not that I don't want to do this, because if I didn't want to do it, I just wouldn't do it. It's more of like a hurdle in life that I actively want to get over. I feel like if I can't do this, I shouldn't be a meat eater. I should just be a vegetarian, because I eat meat all the time. I should be able to get my hands literally dirty and just do it. So I'm going to just do it. But anyway, so I contacted the guy who runs the class, and I was like, is there anything, do I need to bring anything? And he was like, just a cooler and lawn chairs. And I was like, cool. So this is going to be outside. I guess because there'll be rabbits and it'll get messy. But half of me wants to go to this class to learn the skills, and the other half of me wants to go to this class just to see everybody else who shows up for this class. I'm sure they'll all be exactly like me, just wanting to learn rabbit skills. But also I need to bring a cooler. So I was a little concerned that at the end of the class, he'd be like, okay, buy your rabbits and like go home with them. And I was like, I'm not gonna have to like have this thing in my lap and like I'm gonna pet it like on the way home. But no, I'm relieved because it sounds like I'm gonna be able to practice my new skills in front of this instructor, this professor. And then I'll be able to come home with a butchered rabbit. So that's good, because this hurdle might be a little harder to get over if I have to pet it. Yeah. But that's what I'm going to be doing in a couple of hours. Going to rabbit class. With a cooler and lawn chairs. I'm gonna be the only person in this class. And if I am, I'm gonna be like, can I film part of this so I can look back at it? You know, for instructional sake. If I can easily film any part of this, except the most gruesome parts, I won't do that to you, because just because I've decided to do this myself does not mean that you have to also witness this. But I'm gonna cook the bunny tonight, rabbit, and I just keep telling myself it's gonna be like chickens, because I had chickens several years ago and I would be absolutely fine butchering and eating those, because some people get really attached to their chickens. I don't know how. They're like, they seem less human, less alive than fish do. Like, there's nothing there, and they're just dirty and just, I don't know. They don't seem to have personalities. Some people insist they do, but some people also have pet rocks, so I'm not going to read into that too much. But I really hope these bunnies are ugly. You know, just like, I hope the bunny I'm going to eat just, you know, has mange. I hope they just look really scraggly and just evil with like red eyes, and they're going to be like white and fluffy with like crystal clear blue eyes with like human features. That sounds even scarier, actually. I hope these rabbits are really evil, like really, really angry and just ugly. Oh boy. What have I gotten myself into? I don't know. It's not the first time in my life I've wondered that. I just feel determined. I'm gonna have bees, so I'll have honey and wax. I think I'm gonna do quail instead of chickens, just because of my disdain for chickens. And I'm going to have goats for milk, and a garden, and rabbits for meat. And they'll reproduce like rabbits. And I'll have meat and honey and wax, which I won't eat, but I'll use for other things, eggs and milk, little quail eggs, and goat's milk. My goal is not actually to fully live off the land, but I do think it'd be pretty fun to have a variety of things that it can produce. I like goats too much. They kind of remind me of dogs, so I could never eat them. So I think those will be good for milk, but I'm just gonna be emotionally detached from the rabbits. I'm gonna take notes today. Maybe I'll read you some of my notes. It's good it's gonna be outside. I'm gonna be like actively smoking while I'm culling and butchering. I feel like that would be fine with what this crowd's gonna be. Probably pretty country and laid back. So we have that going for us. And wear overalls. I'm not usually nervous when I'm talking to you. And I'm not nervous about talking to you. I'm nervous about this class. I'm nervous that it's going to be hard. But it's something I want to learn how to do, so I just have to push through it. I won't be mean to myself. If I actually can't, I won't, but I will. Is there a difference between rabbits and bunnies? I'll probably learn that today. Maybe I can call them something else, like hoppers. That sounds more adorable. I had rabbit's feet whenever I was little, like the keychains that everyone had in the 90s. I mean, so I've basically been doing this since I was a young child. And those were garish, like they were dyed pink and purple and stuff, so this should be easy. They used to sell those in vending machines, like actual dead rabbit's feet. The 90s were a very strange time. There was a particular restaurant that I would go to. They would always have those in the vending machines, and I always wanted them, and they had their claws. Probably explains a lot. Probably explains this, actually. You can't see it, can you? Yep, see all those antlers? Kind of looks like a rib cage right now, but I'm getting more to fill it in. Maybe the whole liking byproducts of animals, like antlers and stuff. Maybe it started then. Anyway, I'm gonna go, and I will update you.
Will be on the right.
There are two other cars here. And look at all those dogs. This is a perfect day for a rabbit killing class. Oh, hell yeah. Look at all this debris. Uh-oh. Hello. So, I went to bunny class yesterday. I gave myself a day to kind of recover and regroup and decide how I wanted to talk about it. Okay, so it was 4.5 hours. It was freezing outside, but I'm glad I did it. It was worth it. I would do it again. I mean, I don't need to do it again, but if I had known what I knew in the beginning, I would go forward and do it again if I hadn't before. So a lot of the time was, like, we went over to where the instructor, it wasn't a man, it was like a probably 30-year-old woman with dreadlocks that moved to Kentucky from Florida. Florida, so that was very interesting. She was very farm oriented and seemed very, I don't know, it was like a hippie farmer, which you would think is just a hippie, but she was like, because I grew up with classic Iowa farmer grandparents, and they're like, she wasn't stocky, but she like had well-worn overalls, and like it was all, she was, you could tell she worked on the farm a lot, but was also a hippie. She looked like a farmer with dreadlocks. It was interesting. She was really nice. I liked her. She was also a really good instructor in that whenever people were culling their rabbits and butchering them, she wouldn't like jump in. She would just give like gentle corrections, but like not be like, here, let me show you. Like she still let everyone do their own, which was, she was just really good at it, which was surprising because she said she hadn't done a rabbit class before. She'd just done a chicken class before, but she was really good. And she cooked, she had prepared a meal for the end. It was like rabbit in a crock pot and like roasted rabbit, so we could taste what it tasted like. And it was good. It was actually a lot more like pork. Like the crock pot rabbit was a lot like pulled pork, but and then with barbecue sauce. I'd had rabbit before, but I remembered it being more like chicken, but this was more like pork. So I went, I think I was the third person because I had to like go back to the car and warm up a little bit because it was so, and everyone was doing that. It was so cold, I couldn't open and close my hands well, and with how much you have to use your hands to process a rabbit, I was scared that, it's kind of gross, but I was scared that like the body warmth alone from it, they were saying that helps, but I was like, I don't think I'm gonna be able to do this. So I had to go warm up and smoke and then do it. It wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. The way that we were culling them was like a V-shaped, like, what do you call it? Metal rod, like a metal rod that had been bent into a V shape and was attached to a metal pole, and then you put the rabbit's head in it, and then you pull down the feet really hard and quickly, and that just like instantly does it. And it was very effective. And then you hang it by its feet and undress it, and there was like they don't have very much blood in them, so it wasn't like, I mean, okay, I'm not going to get too into this because I really don't want to disturb you, but I would imagine that part of this would be removing its head. That's the only part where there's really like blood. Everything else was just like, it was like when you buy packaged chicken at the grocery store and like you see extra like fat or something and you like trim it off. That's like that. There was no blood after that. It was really not nearly as gory as you would think it would be. And so like you just pull the skin off and get the inside out, and then like anyway, and then freeze it. And so I wasn't actually able to cook rabbit for dinner last night because rigor mortis sets in like 20-30 minutes, and it won't let up until a couple of days later. And so since this was like middle of the day, it would have been a rigor mortis for dinner, which she said would make the meat tough and terrible. So I have to wait several days before I cook this thing. But I still got to try the bunny with the meal she made, so that was cool. Rabbit. These were not, now I need a cigarette, sorry. walked up, there was just a cage of what looked like pets. The house was very interesting. You saw it as I filmed pulling up to it. There were like, I think, goat jaw bones just like laying around on the ground, which I think were from her dogs. I don't think it was just like parts of animals that were laying around. Well, it was, but I think the purpose was that her dogs had just like scattered them, and there are some, so she keeps, like, you have mother rabbits, then you let them mate, and then I think she said the ones that we called were like 10 or 11 weeks old, so it doesn't take very long for them to get full grown. So you can have ones that you like keep as pets, like the mother ones, and then like the buck, like the male rabbit, the dad of all of them. So I guess I'll name the moms and the dad, but I'm not going to name any of the babies. But I feel like it would be good to have on a farm. It's a good neutral meat, and it's a humane, very humane way of dispatching with them, and they can have happy little lives until then. I mean, to be fair, I'm going to eat meat no matter what. So if I do it this way, I know that they have happy little lives right up until the very end, and that they were dispatched humanely and very quickly, and I'm okay with that. They did look like pets though. I got to feel a pregnant bunny. She took us over to where the moms were, and you like cup your hand and kind of feel back between its back legs, and they feel like little blueberries, the little baby bunnies in the mom. And the bunny looked at me and was like, "Do I know you?" Like, this is very personal. But no, she was sweet. My hands, no matter how many times I washed them, did still smell like blood, so I guess I'll have to get used to that. But it was fine. It was a lot easier than I thought it would be, and much less like blood and gore involved than I thought there would be. But I wanted to give you an update because you deserve one after talking to me before the class and, you know, calming me down, telling me everything would be okay. And it was okay. The only hard part about it was being in the cold that long. Though, on a leather note, I am going to read up on tanning, because you can absolutely, I mean, all the fur comes off in one big piece. Like, it seems like a very big waste to just throw that away. So she said she's tried her hand in tanning and has been pretty happy with it. And I want to look into that because that would be interesting and less wasteful. definitely the only one that had painted nails. But I was like, I painted them red to like blend in with the blood, which I meant was as a joke, but I didn't like laugh as I said it, and I don't think they realized I was joking. So then, like after a second, I laughed, which was too long to wait to laugh. There were a bunch of, they really wanted to talk about how Republican they were, and I just was quiet and listened to the information about the rabbits. And a lot of, like, this one guy in particular kept trying to make jokes. I guess he was nervous, but like when I was cutting off the bunny's paws, sorry, graphic, but you have to get the skin off. He started singing I Want to Hold Your Hand by the Beatles, and I just turned and looked at him. Like, and then his wife started talking about how annoying he was, and I was like, bitch, you're not any better, but I didn't say anything. I just saved my withering looks for people, which I feel like it's fine. But then after the blood joke, no one really tried to talk to me again. So, I mean, what a loss. It's supposed to be 57 and sunny today. That's nice. It was just freezing yesterday for the rapids. Kayaks on Facebook Marketplace, preferably like turquoise and purple and pink, like really 80s colors, because they come in really rich